Hello and welcome to the Digital Nomad Experts podcast by Beach Commute. Today you've got me and Jeff, and we are excited for this topic. We are talking about 4 fully remote companies that are hiring right now that are really cool companies that we love, that our team has discovered here at Beach Commute, searching for companies that will actually let you work from anywhere in the world while you do your job and truly progress in your career. So over time, we have built up a database of hundreds of companies. I think we have over 500 companies at this point, that we have a full team of experts who find these companies. We search our personal and professional networks, people, other digital nomads we know, companies they work for. We scour the job boards for you so you don't have to waste hundreds of hours of your own time looking through the companies that aren't actually remote, that are scams. We talked about this in another recent episode. And we've collected just some really awesome companies that truly let you work remotely. And even some of the ones that we're not sure about, looks like maybe they're remote, but we can't tell. We've got a team of people who actually reach out to those companies as well to confirm whether or not you can. So we'll get into more of this in just a second. But before we do, Jeff, what's going on? How you doing?
I'm good. Still in California, just recharging the batteries. It feels like it's going to be kind of like your year last year, where it's just kind of reset mode for a little bit until something. I'm waiting for something to really call for me, as opposed to just saying yes to the latest and greatest every opportunity, like I was doing the last couple of years. Yeah, exactly. But I'm just waiting for the right thing to pop up, and
and it will.
Just alternating in and out of heavy travel into light travel. So
and it's such a good example that you can. I'm also in Atlanta right now. It's been the first couple months of the year in Costa Rica. Now I'm chilling here for a little bit. I might go back to Costa Rica. I've got some other kind of shorter travel things planned, of like friend's wedding in Mexico, like some random stuff. But I also am kind of like, I'm just chilling for a little bit, which is new and different for us. We're evolving in our nomad life, like 6, 7, 8 years into this. We're relaxing a little bit. So I think it's good for you to know, if you choose the nomad life, you can go to, I think, what did you do? Like 13 different countries last year?
Something like that. Yeah, it was
maybe
quite a
more.
bit.
It was like 13 in a very short time. I can't remember. You were bouncing all over in Africa and Europe and South America. You were all over last year. So you can do it either way. You can bounce everywhere, or you can slow down a little bit, which is, I think, good to know, because everyone has a different style and it might change over time. But with that, we would say the fastest way, if you would like to travel the world, if you'd like the freedom to, chill at home or choose to go to, where'd you spend the beginning of the year? You were in Argentina, Colombia, Mexico. That was the beginning of your year. I was in Costa Rica. Maybe you want to spend your, the U.S. winters in South Africa or Australia or wherever you want to be. You can do so when you get a remote job that gives you the freedom to travel while you work. This is a huge thing. And the fastest, easiest, most reliable way to do that is to get a job with an existing company who gives you the freedom to literally work wherever you want. Jeff and I have talked a lot. I think it was a couple episodes ago, Jeff. Was it like 4 steps to find a remote job? Do you remember the title of that one?
I think it was just a couple weeks ago. I'll pull up
You pull it up and let us know the episode number. But the point of it is, we talked a lot about how to find these remote jobs, because a lot of times if you just go and you look on job boards, you will think you'll go and you'll say remote marketing job or remote customer service job, whatever it is, remote project manager. And there's, 10,000 roles that pop up right away. But the problem is less than 1 out of every 100 jobs. So less than 1% of roles on job boards, even if it's just remote job boards, don't actually let you travel abroad while you work. You can work remote from your home in whatever state you live in or whatever country you live in. And for tax purposes, a lot of companies just aren't progressive enough yet to give you the freedom to literally pop around to Thailand, to Portugal, to Greece, to wherever you want to be. So we talked a lot in that episode about how, like, the steps that our team actually takes to, if we're looking at job boards specifically, to go through, avoid scam listings, avoid companies that don't actually let you work remotely. We talked about those steps. So it's a really great episode. I highly recommend. Do you know the number, Jeff?
Yeah, it was actually the last episode. It's 142.
Oh, there you go. I'm like, weeks ago.
they blend together. We're coming up on the 150 episode anniversary here. So
wow, that's
we
exciting.
still got tons of things to talk about. But yeah,
so
it's
much.
a mess of stuff in our past.
Okay, so just go back to the episode before this one. That's an easy one. I highly recommend listening to that one. Maybe even first if you haven't yet listened to it. So today, that was just about how to actually find these jobs. But Jeff and I really wanted, you guys seem to love the job episode. So we'll try to talk more about finding jobs, type of jobs you can do, like all sorts of things as it relates to nomad life, to understand like what is the right career path for you? What are other people doing? But today we really wanted to give some highlights of some actual remote companies that fully let you travel, what we're looking at their websites when we go, what these kind of companies are, just some really cool things. And like, I think a lot of these companies are very progressive compared to some normal companies, but we wanted to highlight a couple cool ones. And these, as we're recording this, actually have jobs available right now. So you can kind of get a feel for, I think, like, I know before I started living nomadically, I'd be like, who would actually let you travel? Like, what kind of companies are actually doing this? So we want you to see there are some real, actually cool companies out there that give you permission to travel. And we'll talk about what they do, what they're hiring for, like how they promote nomad life and working from anywhere, all of that. So before we jump in with number one, anything you want to add to that, Jeff?
Yeah, we're really excited to share these companies because, like you said, they are very cool. They're very progressive. They are the exact types of companies that we like to share with you. But we also wanted to, in doing this, give you a peek behind the curtains into what it is that we're doing on a daily basis. We're going to walk you through some of the language that we're looking for when we're looking at some of these websites, some of the types of roles, the culture, all that kind of stuff. So it should give you an idea. It's almost a really natural segue from the last episode into this episode, where it shows you exactly how we're going and looking through each one of these websites. And it is a matter of looking through the company, not just the job listings, which is why it is an entire process. So we're excited to walk you through some of these. We're going to walk you through the companies. We're going to walk you through some of the language that we're looking for, some of the culture fit types of stuff. And you can get an idea of, how you can do it on your own. You'll see it is very time consuming to do this kind of stuff. Like you said, it's only 1% of listings out there that are not a scam, actually let you travel fully remote and not limited to a specific geography, have oftentimes clear pay scales and, interviewing process, timelines. Yeah. We'll walk you through all that kind of stuff. So very exciting episode.
Cool. You want to kick it off with number one, Jeff?
Yeah. Okay. So the first company on the list that I'm going to walk you through is called YokoCo. And they...
That's
YokoCo.
a tongue twister.
Yeah.
How do you
It'd be
spell
easier if it was Yoko
spell
Company.
It for us. I know, right?
Yeah, so you're going to go to YokoCo.com. So that's YokoCo. And YokoCo is that's just rolls right off the tongue.
It like reads differently. It's funny when you say it, YokoCo.
Maybe a pause? YokoCo.
YokoCo. Like
we'll
company.
Reach out to them
Yoko
and ask
company.
them the correct pronunciation.
We're probably doing it wrong.
Where's the inflection go? Does it go on the Yoko or the Co?
Fair.
So let's talk a little bit about YokoCo. They are a digital marketing agency, so covers a lot of ground. This is similar to the company that I was with for like 10 years. It is anything related to digital marketing, right? So, could be doing ads, could be creating content, could be doing paid stuff, paid social, PPC, that kind of thing. And the beauty of these types of companies, we're going to talk a little bit about working for one of these types of companies as a digital nomad. And then I'm going to talk about like the specifics of this company and the things that we're looking for. One of the really good parts about working for an agency, a digital marketing agency as a digital nomad, is a lot of the times it's it's all online, right? So it's everything that you do can be done fully remote. I did this for years with my old company. It is digital marketing, so everything can be done async. It can be done through Google Meet, and a lot of times the time zones issues that you could run into just has to do with, can you make it on time for meetings with coworkers and with potentially clients, right? So as long as you can manage that, generally not much of an issue. Another really big positive to working for a digital marketing agency is you get exposure to a ton of different stuff within the digital. I'm talking learning how to build websites, learning how to work with analytics, getting exposure to content creation, content marketing, working in WordPress, other website building tools, even email marketing, even SEO. That's kind of how I got my start. I was in a digital marketing agency, got exposure to SEO. And then within any one of those channels, you can start to specialize. And each one of those specialties generally is very well suited to being a digital nomad. These are all very independent types of niches that you can get into. So really, really good. It's like on the job learning and learning what you like to do at these types of companies. You get exposure to these things and be like, oh, I've tried 7 different aspects of marketing and I really, really like this one. And you'd be like, okay, right. I'm going to niche down.
Specialize in that.
I'm going to be a specialist in this area. And then you can spend the next few years raising your salary while working fully remote, moving up, and then even potentially becoming a consultant on your own, whatever you want to do. Depends on your preference. So there's a lot of positives to working for a digital marketing agency. So with that, let's talk a little bit about the actual company. So there's a few things in here that we really like to see on the website. So if I go to the careers page, right off the bat, I'm going to get the open positions, and there's some language in here that's really, really important. The current job opening is for a UI, that's user interface / web designer. And it says here in the listing, the location is remote / anywhere. And that word,
love that word.
Anywhere, Marissa, we
love that word.
That
we
word.
love the word anywhere.
Yeah, well, explain the problem when you see the word remote on its own.
Yeah, just normally, again, if you go to LinkedIn, if you go to any job board and you toggle for remote positions, they are remote from the US. They are remote from Canada. They are remote from California. They are remote, or not from California, anywhere, but sometimes anywhere in the States except for California and New York. There's some weird rules with that. But regardless, it gets really exciting because you're like, remote, surely I can be my computer from anywhere. But the companies that really specifically say remote anywhere or work from anywhere versus just remote, it's like, that's the key. That is what you were looking for, because that's the difference between being stuck and trying to sneak around. If you're like, oh, why can't I just be at the beach in Mexico? I'm just at my computer at home. Like, what's the difference? But those companies care. For whatever reason, they care. So if you see that remote from anywhere, like that is the key word that you just, it's like you're gold, because you literally, those companies genuinely don't care if you are anywhere in the world, as long as you are showing up if you need to at a certain time, or, doing your work, responding on Slack, whatever it is you need to be doing, you can do it from anywhere. Yeah,
it means they're truly embracing fully remote culture as a company, right? They see the value in that. That's the kind of...
Like globally, not just remote from your current home.
Some more good stuff looking on the career page here. Right below the current position, right now, currently 1. Check back on this because it is a fully remote company, right? So while these are just remote jobs that are open right now, this list is going to change over time.
About that company, I want to say with YokoCo, however you want to say it. This is one I feel like is almost always hiring. Like, don't hold me to that. You might listen to this at some point and go and not see something. But for whatever reason, I feel like I always see jobs hiring. We try not to share all the time because we like to, in our premium membership, which is where we send these remote companies that are hiring that day. Every day we send that Monday through Friday to our premium members. But I feel like I could almost send this company every day because there's always something new. They're always doing something. So we mix it up. We like to send you new ones, so you're not always seeing the same companies for sure. But I just feel like this company is always hiring work from anywhere jobs. So this bookmark. Is why we want to highlight this one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's freebie. Bookmark this one. It's going to be legit. So going down the page here, getting back to transparency, another thing that we really, really put a lot of value in is they've listed out their entire interview process. Why is that important? Well, any of you who have gone through an interview process recently have probably noticed that this process has changed pretty dramatically. You will find, I was just talking to somebody earlier, she had 2 full days of interviews, 7 interviews, and assignments. So it's almost like free work. This is becoming a trend where companies are requiring more and more and more out of the gate, as opposed to just a couple interviews, which I was used to when I was kind of coming up in marketing in my professional career. This one states exactly what your interview process is going to be, so you know exactly what it is. Culture check, team interview, practical assessment, final conversation. Boom. Just like that. It tells you exactly how long it's going to take. There's a header. How long will it take? Where and when will the interviews happen? And will you tell my current job that I've applied? Full transparency. Love that.
I love that.
Yeah. A few other things here. Culture-related stuff that is super, super valuable to us when we're reading through these things. It says pants optional. I love that. It's a header. What that means is, I'm just going to read verbatim. Pretty much everyone works remotely from home or shared office. You don't have to worry about a commute, nor will you be tied to any specific location. Another one I really like. Self-discipline required. We are not micromanagers, and no one will be looking over your shoulder to make sure you do your job. They are very, very much do your work, just be self-accountable. Unlimited PTO, but they're serious about it. It's not one of those ones where it's like they shame you for using too much PTO. It's a little bit of a catch-22 in that one. And they also take off all federal holidays. And then you get 2 free weeks at the end of the year, not used as any sort of PTO or anything like that. Yeah, really, really good stuff here. There's a lot of language that I love in this website, in the job listing. They've got a 4-day work week, right? They've got that advertised.
Company just keeps getting better.
In the role. Yeah, it's
love
just
you,
standard,
YokoCo.
standard across the board. And then if you look into the actual job position, you will see a very clear set of expectations on what you do in the job and what it would be like to work with them. This is a really, really good one. Check them out, careers@yokoco.com, and then check out their website, YokoCo.com.
Yeah. By the way, we are not affiliated with any of these companies. Just so you know, these are simply ones that we have found that we like, that we send out, that sound cool. We are not affiliated, not promoting, anything about them except for that they hire digital nomad type jobs. So I want to give a shout out to our team, and Sydney on our team especially. She's really great at finding a lot of these companies. We have a couple people on our team, again, who are researching and reaching out to these companies if they seem like maybe they're work from anywhere, if they say remote, but it doesn't quite mention anywhere or not, but we think they might. We actually email them, we reach out to them and confirm all of that. But I will say, as Jeff was just talking about the culture of this company, we really do our best in the jobs. So we send out weekly emails that feature just to anyone on our email list. We send out 2 of these companies every single week. So if you're not already on our list, check out beachcommute.com/email just to get on our list so you can start receiving companies like this. And we have a premium membership that we send these out every single, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, every day of the week. We're sending these cool companies. But one thing I wanted to mention, and we talked about this a little bit in the episode before, of finding companies you would actually want to work for. So there's other companies that we see that do say remote work from anywhere, which is already scouring the world for those to start. But sometimes we research them and they seem a little bit sketchy or they don't have great ratings. So as Jeff was saying, our team works really, really hard to find companies that also seem to have cool cultures, a place you'd want to work for that respect their employees. Like you said, this one gives a 4-day work week. They're not micromanaging. They're really trusting you, letting you be autonomous. And they're not just I don't know. I think a lot of people think about digital nomad jobs and they're like, oh, it's just some little thing that I'm doing that's not going to let me progress in my career and really move up in a company. These are real companies. They're really cool companies with really cool cultures. So I think a lot of people, especially in the States, think about Google or Facebook or whatever that has a cool, foosball table in their office or something. These are the cultures that to me are this is what I know you, this is what we would want to work for. And I know a lot of people are can we work for a Beach Commute? If we're hiring, we'll let you know. But we really respect we want you to be anywhere in the world. We want you to get your work done on your own time, because that's how we would like to work. So we try to find companies that really feature the same as well. And I just want to give a shout out to our team because they work really hard every day to find those companies for you. And it takes a lot of work, and it's really important to us to find companies not just that let you work from anywhere, like that's important, but also that are like value diversity and freedom. And I would say those are two big ones for us. But yeah, anything else on that, Jeff, before I jump in, or anything else in your company before we move to the second one?
No, that's it for them. Yeah, again, you can find these companies if you go through our last podcast, 142. We've got exactly the process to go through. It just takes a long time. It's like you said, it's 1 in 100, and everything that we just walked through. Like I was looking through the about page, career page, what they do, all that kind of stuff.
It takes time.
I was just manually reading through that stuff. It's not, and it's and that was already, our team already found that one, so they went through 100 to find that one. It's just
we had our team send us these so that we could just share the cool ones with you, because they've spent the hours reading a lot of bad descriptions and bad companies and not actually work from anywhere to find these cool ones. So join beachcommute.com/email if you're not already on our list, and check out our website. You can go to beachcommute.com if you want to join the membership. So with that, I'm going to talk about this one. Okay, so number 2 on our list of cool companies let you work from anywhere and are hiring now is a company called Copilot IQ. So that's COPILOTIQ.com. This is especially a cool one. So I know Sid, who finds a lot of these companies for us and our team, and a lot of you who reach out, if you've ever emailed us, sometimes we write you back, but a lot of times we have Sid on our team who is replying to you. She's awesome and will send a lot of this information. A lot of you will reach out and say, like, I do this, is there a remote job? Or I do this type of job, currently in person, and what's out there for me? So we have a lot of people who reach out and say, like, I'm in healthcare or nursing or some sort of medical professional, and there's a lot of rules and restrictions around the types of work that you can do. A lot of times you, as a licensed professional, you have to work from the US, even if a company is letting you work remotely. There's some weird regulations around that. So this company is especially cool, and I know it's one of Sid's favorite for this reason, because so many of you ask about healthcare companies, is there's actually different roles for medical professionals that you can do, and they truly let you work from anywhere. So with that, Copilot IQ is a company that says, we're on a mission to bring world-class care to seniors living with chronic conditions such as diabetes and hypertension. So basically what they do is they're giving teams of like nursing and different support teams remotely to seniors. So they're saying, rather than just like go in for another checkup or just like taking prescriptions, which people often tell you to do. I've got a whole nother, I won't go on that high horse talk I feel about that. Not today. I feel strongly about it. I know.
I think I'm entirely different podcast.
I know, which is why I love this company, because they really believe in like support, like learning about what's going on, understanding it, helping you fully. So they basically have, these weekly check-ins with personal care teams. And it just seems like a really cool, like remote healthcare company that's not only just saying like, oh, we're just do what we're doing, but do it remote. Like it seems like they really care and are trying to actually help people with all these different conditions without just like prescribing you medication or just being like, cool, you came here, like look good, bye. So it's like a very personalized care, and they're using a lot of data I'll talk about more in a second, but it seems like a pretty cool progressive company that is in the healthcare space and doing good things. So they say like there's a data gap, like the patient's lifestyle, like I think doctors aren't often asking a lot of questions, so it's just really real people who are really caring for these people and doing it in a remote way. So some of the benefits and perks of working at this company, if you go to their careers page, it says, like Jeff said in this last one, flexible PTO, that's paid time off. So it just says take the time you need with discretionary time off. So it's not like 7 days and that's it. Like you kind of do what you need and you're held accountable, do your work and take the time you need off, which I think more and more progressive companies are doing these days. So that's number one. It says right on the website, 100% remote, live and work from anywhere. So if you listen to the last episode that we recorded before, like you want the company's website to say this specifically. And that's why there are some of those that are kind of like, I can't quite tell. They say remote. Do they really mean remote from a different country? I love it when they just say like live and work from anywhere. I think that's that keyword we mentioned before is, it's just super clear. So there are some that aren't clear, and we do the research and we literally email the companies, we email HR, we find out for you. But I just love when the company says right there, work from anywhere. And they have different learning and development. It says comprehensive health plans, 401k, all of that. So anyway, this is what we talk about, things that we like to look for just about the culture. Like there's flexible time off. They like are caring about your development. It really is remote. So these are things that our team really searches for and we send out in our emails. So with that, they actually have a bunch of different jobs open right now. They have 2 roles in finance, one in medical operations. That one's director of nursing. They have providers. This is cool. There's a remote part-time endocrinologist. Like, how often do you see that? There's a remote full-time physician. And you're working from anywhere. That's really, really unusual if you're in the medical professional.
Especially in that space. Yeah.
Especially in that space.
So cool.
And then even if you're not like a nurse or a physician or an endocrinologist, there's some other roles. They have a business development manager open. They have a VP of revenue cycle management. They have a a couple of engineers. So DevOps engineer, an engineering manager, senior product designer, staff data engineer. So even if there's other things you like to do, but this company's mission seems cool to you, there's tons of different opportunities. So again, this is Copilot IQ. And I like to say sometimes when I do career coaching, and one of my favorite parts of career coaching is helping people figure out like what career is right for you. So a lot of people, like maybe it's you have a passion for healthcare and alternative healthcare or helping seniors, right? But maybe you're not a physician or a doctor. A lot of people think like, oh, if I'm not a doctor, I can't help those people. But maybe you're like a really fabulous artistic designer. Like this company is hiring a designer. So I always remind people to split out those 2 things. Like what's the industry you're interested in and then what is your skill? And then you can often find ways to match those. So anyway, tons of cool stuff about this company. Just the culture. I love their culture. I love their mission. We love that they work from anywhere. It's cool that they have different medical opportunities that aren't usually possible and lots of good things going and tons of jobs hiring now. So any thoughts on that one, Jeff, before we move to number 3 on the list?
Yeah, just as we're going through this, keep in mind some of these thematic bits of language that we're hearing is work from anywhere, fully remote. Look at the about page, look at the careers page, look for transparency, look for verbiage that says stuff like independent work or, work at your own pace, anything that indicates that they are trusting you to do your job, where they put more value on performance than they do physical attendance. This is the type of language of very progressive companies that are going to do very well into the future because they're embracing and understanding what performance actually looks like. And they're kind of understanding how human beings work a little bit better, right? Because we
thought.
we are not meant to be forced into these perfect 9 to 5, 40-hour weeks where you're perfectly productive for an arbitrary 9 hours in a row, Monday through Friday. Brains don't work that way. Human bodies don't work that way. And I think a lot of companies
and I do not work that way.
We do not work that way. Like if I were to tell you, Marissa, we need to start at 7 a.m. every morning, you would be miserable. Like it just doesn't work for everybody. We all are unique, and some of these companies are starting to really understand and embrace that. And that's translating over to travel as well. And they're realizing that, yes, travel is a net positive for most people, and they're really embracing that into their models, which is great to see. So cool. Let's bring it to the third company is mine. Yep. And this one is Test Gorilla. Test Gorilla is a talent assessment tool. So the best way I can explain this is if you think of applying for jobs in an old school way, you would send in a resume, cover letter, and then your hiring manager or screener would read through the resume, try to make a decision of whether or not your skills, your background is a fit for the company, and then move you into the next phase of the interview process or not. This company it's an assessment type of process. So the company will work with Test Gorilla to create this assessment where a candidate would fill out this assessment, and this will help better determine if they're a match for the company as opposed to going through hundreds of resumes. So it probably is better for the company and for the candidate to determine if they're actually matches for each other before you get to the next phase and everybody gets disappointed. So it's kind of a cool new, I haven't seen much of this before. I've heard of talent assessment tools, but I've never actually seen or read through some of these tools. And this to me logically makes sense as a next step in the game, in the hiring game. But to getting to their culture, there's a few things that I do want to walk you through. If we go to the careers page, and again, I'm sorry, let me back up. This is testgorilla.com, testgorilla.com. If we go to the careers page, again, you're going to see some very common language that we've been talking through today. The headline of the page is Join Us from Anywhere. At Test Gorilla, we're building a global team of amazing people who want to change the way companies hire. If you're curious, ambitious, and ready to grow your career with us, we'd love to meet you. Scroll down a little bit. We see there is a map highlighted with all of the countries in which people are represented. We've got a number across Asia, a few across, actually 4 across African countries. In total, 154 team members in 43 countries. And if you scroll down even further, it highlights some of the aspects of working for them. The header says, find freedom and an awesome team. Connect, meet, and bond with colleagues from all over the world. We are, with our 100% remote structure, you'll have the support, freedom, and trust you deserve to truly grow and succeed at this company. So if there's a way that I could write a page that encapsulates everything that we're looking for, this would be it. This is 100% everything that we're talking about. This embodies how we operate at Beach Commute and the types of companies that we're looking for. So there are a number of roles currently hiring. I won't go through them all because I want you to check them out on your own and see what's a fit for you. But as an example, you've got product marketing, business development, part-time customer success, senior data engineer, director of data, And you can see with every one of these listings, they put 100% remote right underneath it with an icon of a globe, right? So you're seeing a very, very common theme. These are central core tenets to the company and their culture in the way that they're hiring and the way that they see their employees progressing at the company. So before I move on, any thoughts on this thematic type of language that we're seeing?
I love it. Yeah, I think it's just it just keeps getting clearer and clearer of like what we're looking for, what you can be looking for. And to me, I mean, we talked about the words of anywhere. I love that word freedom on there. We were actually trying to name our company before. Actually, Jeff came up with the name Beach Commute, but we kept like brainstorming around. It was me, Jeff, and Diego. We're like the freedom something. Like the freedom was really important. You know, it like seemed like not the right name for our company without Beach Commute, but like freedom is really important to us as a value. And so I love that, like that word, you don't always see that word on job descriptions necessarily. So, or like on a company. So I think that that's really cool. But yeah, overall, I think to me now, as we're 3 companies in, we got one more cool one to go for this episode. But to me, also the theme is like, these companies are out there, right? Like these are a couple of them of our list of 500. And yes, we have scoured the globe to find these, but they do exist. So I think if you're listening to this, like take that as inspiration. That a lot of people just have this connotation that if I go to work remote, it's going to be some, cheap little thing, or I'm not going to get paid as well, or I'm not going to progress in my career or work for somewhere cool. I'm going to have to take a pay cut. And I'll talk actually about the one I'm going to talk about now actually has some clear salary information. We haven't talked much about that today. But like these are out there, like these really do exist, and that's why we help you find them. But I just take that as inspiration. We haven't recorded an episode quite like this that really digs into the companies and what they're like and the culture, so it's really important. We really want to share this with you today so you can get a feel of like these are just like, this is 4 minor examples of hundreds of companies that are out there, and this is compared to thousands and thousands of non-remote companies or not great companies that don't have great culture. So we work really hard to find these for you, but they do exist. So anything last with this company, Jeff, before we hop into our 4th and final company of this episode?
No, take us to the last one.
Okay, so this one is called Invisible, and I told Jeff before this episode, sometimes like company names, if you just type in the word invisible, you're probably not going to find it, but it's invisible.co, so .co. is the website. And this one, I will say, I've got a lot of good things to say about this company. It's kind of hard to figure out exactly what they do when you get to the website. So from my understanding of it and like taking a dig into it, basically this is an AI type of company that helps with the business operation. So let's say you're a company that's, you're maybe a founder of a company, or you have a company, you're trying to scale, but you need some help with like the operation. So you would go to this company and they would help you with the operations across like maybe just a specific industry or function that you haven't yet built out or aren't yet good at. So if you're a leader of a company and you're looking to build out the operations, you would come to Invisible. So it's a little bit hard to kind of comprehend sometimes. Okay. I think that's why... Yeah, it's even hard for me to explain it here, and I think that's why sometimes on a website you're like, what? Actually, that's a pretty common thing. I'm not just speaking about this website, but in general, when we look at different careers and companies and we send these to you in an email, we work really hard to kind of like actually look at it from a real human and be like, what does this company do? Because I was telling Jeff before this, I think a lot of companies out there will just have really kind of like airy, hypothetical, like we help the companies grow and prosper. I'm like, but what do you do? So sometimes it's kind of hard to find, and we really like to like break it down for you on our Beach Commute email so you actually know like what are the companies, what are they actually doing to, make money and to potentially help other consumers or businesses. So anyway, their mission, it says, is to help leaders achieve their grandest visions better, faster, and cheaper by breaking work into its atomic units and so on. So if I just read that, I was like, what do you do? But they kind of help with the operations.
What's an atomic unit?
What's an atomic unit? Sorry, Invisible, we love you. But yeah, anyway, they do some cool stuff. They've got some cool jobs, but that is, sometimes it's just hard to see. So on this company, when you go to, theirs is not, normally it's like invisible.co would be /careers. There's a /join us. But if you go to their website, you can kind of go to at the bottom of their website, there's a footer, it'll say join us. And in big bold letters, and I actually missed this because I was looking for the fine print when Jeff and I were looking at these companies, it literally says like in huge letters, work anywhere. And then it says, come and change everything. That's sort of their ethos on their careers page is work anywhere, change everything. So again, don't have to go into it. We love that word anywhere. They will let you work anywhere. This means globally. And the change everything. So I will say this company culture, some of the cultures are really about like your freedom, your autonomy. This company like genuinely seems to care about like you're there because you want to make an impact. You want to kind of have like an entrepreneurial spirit and a lot of autonomy within the company and your role. So they're really, again, like this ethos, work anywhere, change everything. They care about, it really seems like innovation, about you progressing, about you like solving big problems. You're a visionary, talks a lot about like you're not just a kind of like an employee. It says, you're a thinker, you're a problem solver, you're a visionary. It's not just a job. It says like if you're drawn to meaningful challenges, if you want to make a significant impact. So this company, like if you look all through their kind of work for them, their whole ethos is about like kind of, making an impact. To me, it seems like if you're kind of entrepreneurial, but you want to work for a company, this would be a cool place to work. That's my kind of takeaway from that. Mm-hmm. Within the opportunities, there are of jobs that are open right now. So they've got a couple different ones. There's some different software engineer, senior associate of labor and tax compliance. I'm just going to give you a couple of these. A group financial controller, another software engineer, advanced AI data trainer. There's some cool roles here. And I love just looking at titles of different companies because sometimes there's roles like one of the things that a lot of people tell us when they join, so the premium membership we have is called Digital Nomad Jobs Daily. So we send these companies that are hiring that day, the best 2 companies hiring that day, we send those every day. And one of the things we get feedback from a lot of the members inside that community is just, they're like, I didn't know these jobs even existed. Like, it's so cool to get those these daily emails that we send, and we put them in a way that's like not like thousands of things overwhelming you. We really simplify it. Be like, here's a cool company. Here's what they do. We'll put it to you in language that you understand. And here's the roles that they're hiring for right now. And so many people either say like, I had no idea this type of company existed. That's really inspiring. Like, I found my perfect company I didn't even know existed. Or there's these roles that I didn't even know could be done maybe anywhere, never mind remotely from anywhere in the world. So it's such an inspiration, like just to get these daily emails and see all the possibilities out there, because you're going to find one that's right for you. I think that's the cool thing. So they have a bunch of different jobs that are open right now. And the other thing that was cool on their actual, like I just clicked through to one of the job descriptions. One of the things they say on their website is they're really they say 100% transparent about salary. This is pretty unusual. Most companies, most companies will give like a wide range, or we know just based on the types of roles, like we'll give salary estimates usually if it doesn't say it, because we know like, okay, typically this type of title for this type of company will pay around this much, but it will really vary based on your experience. They're just like, this is a transparent pay. Here's what we're paying for these roles, which you don't always see. And I think it's like something they value, which is really cool. And even working within the company, it seems like there would be some transparency of like, you maybe would know what your peers are making or what new roles are hiring for. So you know that you're getting paid fairly, which is, not always companies practice. So this role, for example, this was the principal engineer for professional services. It says the compensation breakdown. They say a base salary of $175,000. So no matter what you do, you're getting paid that. And then the base plus the bonus target. So it depends on how the company does that year. It says the base plus bonus, you can make about $245,000. That's really important because so many of, I think just a lot of people talk about the connotations of digital nomad life and career, which is like, okay, I'm going to have to take a pay cut if I, want to live this travel life, if I want to live as a nomad. But this, you could literally make $245,000 in this real role for this real company that exists right now. They're hiring for this role right now. So I think it's really awesome just to see that. It says you're also eligible to receive company equity, which is a big deal. That means ultimately if this company sells down the road, you can make a lot more money. And then right in this compensation and benefits part of the job description, it says flexible work scheduled, unaccrued vacation days, and then it says work remotely. So again, if I just saw the company description, and this is why, like if a job board is linking to the role, you'll just see this role, not the company website, and it just says work remotely. So if I saw this without having already talked about the company's website that we've looked at, this is what our team does. Is like it says work remotely, that very easily, it's surprising they don't say work from anywhere there is what I'm trying to say here. So that's why our team really researches before we send out any roles that are hiring that day. We make sure that you can actually work from anywhere, not just remotely from home. So they actually don't really talk about it as much directly in that language there, which is why we go to the company's website and go above and beyond to, decide and figure these out for you before we send them out. But anyway, I think it's really cool that it just seems like a very empowering company for someone who likes change, doing big things, being autonomous, kind of doing your own thing within a company, working flexibly, having a lot of salary autonomy, making a great salary, and working from anywhere. So just pointing out like all of these things really can and do exist. And again, if you're not already on our email list, check out beachcommute.com/email. We send out 2 of these once a week along with podcast info. And then if you go to our website, just check out beachcommute.com. If you're interested in joining the Digital Nomad Jobs daily membership, you can find it on our website there. Anything else, Jeff, about this company or language or looking back at all 4 companies that we talked about today?
There was a lot that I liked about this last company here. I just opened up one of their head of product. I opened up one of their roles here. There's a really cool section in here that I've never seen before. It says the type of product leader we're looking for. There are many flavors of product leadership. Here are some trade-offs we will optimize for. This is really cool. I've never seen this. Quick and done versus slow and methodical, right? So think of like working for a very corporate. You remember those days?
I've done that.
Oh boy, bureaucracy and moving a tanker ship around. It's just really slow and not very agile. Startup mentality versus corporate mentality, same thing basically. Break the rules versus follow structured processes. I really, really like, and this should be a huge green flag for you because this is something that I spent years managing employees, and I always told them, this is like one of the top 3 things I always told them, just break stuff and see what happens. Because you're not going to come up with any ideas if you're just following these structured processes. I want to see people in any company that has, I think, is a huge green flag. It's a really good thing. They're very open-minded. Operations guru versus technical support, tactical planner versus product visionary, so people that actually do stuff versus talk about doing stuff. The last 2 in here are great. Low ego and anti-drama. And then the last one.
I love that. Might be my favorite one.
It's great. It's really good. And the last one is kind. Just one word. Kind.
Aww,
and I really like that. Yeah, this is the kind of atmosphere you want to be in. This is exactly what you're looking for. Not just because it's a fully remote job and you can live out your dreams as a digital nomad, because you'll actually enjoy your work. You'll enjoy the people that you're working with because they're going to share this. They have this shared value, this shared type of culture that Marissa said that we're sending out every week to people. So I just wanted to get my 2 cents in on that one because I really like that choice that you and Sid came up with there.
Yeah, perfect. Well, we hope you enjoyed hearing about these 4 companies. These are just a few example of, again, like 500 that we have on our personal list that we pull from each day. We send out and rotate them through to let you know what's hiring that day. And we're always adding to our list as well and sending out new companies every day. We're scouring literally the globe to find those needle in the haystack companies that actually let you work from anywhere, that have really cool cultures. So just know that, I know it's like one thing we looked at, and the reason we started the Digital Nomad Jobs Daily membership is that we were so fed up. Like, we were looking through remote job boards we're like, oh, this will be simple. When we first started Beach Commute, we'll just send some jobs. We'll send these cool remote jobs. We'll go to the remote job boards and it'll be really easy to find. We're like, oh my gosh, like, we need a team of people doing this and researching this because it takes a lot of time and it's hard to find these like just actual cool, awesome companies with good cultures that also let you work from anywhere in the world and travel and give you this freedom. So we search and we work really hard to bring this to you guys. So if this sounds good to you, definitely join the membership or get on the email so you can start to get some of these. And our goal for you is to work for some of these cool companies to grow in your career and also travel anywhere in the world you want, whether that's a month at a time in cool places like we've done for a lot of our nomad lives, popping around, meeting people, learning about different cultures, just living by the beach or a mountain or a cool city or a different country that you want to explore, or visiting a family member that's sick in a different country or a different state or wherever you want to be. So to us, like, if we don't have our own job description here at this moment because we're not hiring right this second at this recording, but I know at Beach Commute, like, we care, Jeff and Diego care deeply about freedom to be anywhere, to live where you want, to like have autonomy. So we try to find companies that like we would genuinely want to work for as well, instead of just sending you anything. So any last words, Jeff, before we hop off for today?
No, just if you want to see more companies like this, again, get on our list, beachcommute.com/email. Marissa sends out a newsletter every Tuesday that you can bank on with 2 fully remote companies, similar to the ones that we were just talking about, that have current open positions. So start getting those emails, start bookmarking some of these companies. And, for a good exercise, just start doing some of this work yourself. The type of verbiage to look for. The different things to look for in a job listing that's going to yield you a potential job that'll let you be a digital nomad. And if you have any questions, write us in, hello@beachcommute.com. We get a lot of correspondence from you listeners, and we will, either me, Marissa, or Sydney will generally respond back within 24 hours. We love to hear from you. And other than that, we will see you again next week. Thanks for joining us.